Okay guys, so in this one we're going to learn a little bit about Python, like we discussed in that last video. Python is the programming language that we're going to be using a lot throughout this. So jump into your terminal application, that's under your applications folder, and then under utilities folder, and then terminal. So if you type Python when you open it up, it's going to pull this little screen up. This is called the Python shell. Python shell. And this is where you can run Python type expressions and objects and stuff like that. So if you try to do Python things outside of the Python shell, it's not going to work. Like I'll just show you real quick. 1 plus 1 doesn't understand it. Okay, so if we type in Python and we do 1 plus 1, it understands it. So that's a simple example of you need to be in the Python shell to run Python type things. So Python is great for math, as you saw there. Cool, very easy to do. And when you want to reference things, you need to kind of define it as a variable. So a variable, just like in math, x equals y, but in this case you have to give the other side actual value. So in here we said x equals y, but it doesn't know what y is, and it's not going to find y for you. So you need to say x equals some string. So x equals a string or x equals to 1. It's one or the other. It's going to be an integer or a string. So string means it has quotes around it, right? It could be double quotes or single quotes. It will return single quotes. And these strings are very useful. So my name equals Justin. My role equals teacher. Okay, so and if we did my name plus my role, say Justin teacher, we need a space, so we'll do press up to get to that last thing that you did. And if you keep pressing up, it'll go even further back. So up. Let's add a space in there, plus a space, and it's a string of a space, and Justin teacher. Okay, well, that's kind of cool, I guess. But if you notice, Python listens to spaces. So if we changed role to be have a space in there, and then teacher. Actually, let's show you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. You could do my name plus my role, and it gives all that space. So Python actually looks out for those spaces in there every time you use a space bar, which should make sense. I mean, it does to me. But if it doesn't, then just realize that Python definitely takes space into account. Other programming languages, including like HTML and CSS, do not take it into account the way Python does. Python is pretty unique in that sense. Other languages use things like brackets and semicolons to close things like strings. But in this case, it's not so much that way. It uses spaces, and that is very much how the syntax will work throughout. Another thing is a list. Lists are a string of digits. So it's 1, 2, and 3. It could be like that, or it's going to be a list or multiple items of strings. So a string list would be string A, B, and C, D. And if we type in string list, there you go. So one question you might have is like, oh, can we add list to string list? And you can. And if you notice, it added the first list was 1, 2, 3, and then it added the string list to the end, which made it pretty easy to do. So another thing is a for loop. For loops go through things that are in things. I will just show you an example what I mean. So for items in string list, I have to tab, so I have to go 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a syntax thing, so you want to go 4 spaces in, and then we're going to print items. And you have to enter twice, and it prints out everything that was in that list. And it prints it out in order that it was in that list. So we can do the exact same for loop, and then we can change it to list. And we print items again. And 1, 2, 3, as you might have expected. For loops are kind of like if I said, hey, can you grab a shirt out of my dresser? You might assume that my shirts are not on the top, but on the second. But to be safe, you're going to go through each drawer until you find a specific shirt for me. And for loops basically go through all the drawers, take out all the items, and they look at them. In this case, we said print, so print to the shell those items. For loops are fantastic. We're going to use them a lot, but it's really important to know that it's just about looping through all the items, meaning it goes through every single item. So if you looped through, let's say you looped through your refrigerator, basically you would be going through every single item. You'd pull it out, and if you said print the item, you would print it, meaning you would actually type it out what it was, and then it would go onto your Word document or something. Let's just say that's how you're doing it. And each time you did that, you would type it out, and then there it would be, right? So loops are very, very useful, and we will see them a lot, and you can do for loops for strings themselves even. For item in Justin, go in, print item, and it will even loop through all the items in Justin. So another thing you would be kind of strange to do, but for item in string list, and then for sub item in string, and for sub item in item, print sub item. So what this did was it went for everything in that string list, which if we scroll up, that string list was this. It's going to loop through all of those, and what we should expect it to see is string A, B, C, D, and then that's what item would be. And then after that, it's going to loop through everything that's in item and print sub item. Can you guess what's going to happen? Yep, it spelled out everything. Hopefully you guessed this. If you did, great. If not, kind of back up, maybe watch that part a little bit more, or just ask me a question. Cool, so this was a basic introduction to Python. If you want to learn more Python, I suggest that you go to a site called Learn Python the Hard Way. Oops. You can Google that, and that will actually show you more about Python, and it gives you a lot of good introduction to what Python is and all the different things you can do with it. Anyways, in the next one, we're going to discuss Django and what Django is and how we're going to use it in this project. Great, guys. See you next time.